Welcome in, everybody. I hope everybody had a fantastic Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas or whatever you celebrate, hopefully you had a fantastic holiday with number one, with family, making great memories, having some great food, and most importantly, winning some money and winning some DFS lines, right? Because that's what we do right here at Win Daily Sports, right here on the DraftCast. We've been doing it every single week, cash in different lineups. Tonight, we're going to have 3 lineups. We get a good slate with 13 games and a lot of interesting, drama that's coming out this week. And, before we even get started, because I know, me and Dave did a lot of off-season shows on Sirius. Me and Jay did a lot of off-season shows on Sirius. And I know Jay was laughing today and he was loving it when the word came out that the great Russell Wilson will be benched by Sean Payton. And Jay kept saying, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. I mean, Jay, honestly, though, did you expect him to be benched?
I don't know about bench, and I don't even think he played that bad this year either. Like, he played average. He played, not like Joe Flacco level good. He's like a step or two below Flacco. But like better than he played last year. And I think that's probably a product of Sean Payton. But I don't really think he's great either. I think he's, mediocre at best. Judy didn't help him out at all. Judy's a bum. Judy's more of a bum than Russell Wilson because like Judy still has legs and he's young. Russ is past his prime. He was great at one time, but like Judy didn't really help him, and this team never kind of clicked really. And Baker Mayfield, though, that guy's actually proving me wrong because he's, I'll say he's played really good for Baker Mayfield. I'm still not putting him anywhere like within like the top 10 quarterbacks. I wouldn't want him, running my organization, but he's a professional quarterback once again. So he's doing his thing. Christmas wise, had fun, made some money. Shout out to Breece Hall and Darius Slayton. To hit ladder props on a Jet player and a Giant player in back-to-back nights is super impressive. I got to pat myself on the back there. Yeah, to hit like a Jet player on a ladder prop it felt good, man. It felt good hitting that Breece Hall prop. I hit ladders on his rushing receiving, hit ladders on his rushing prop, and made a ton of money there. Made several $1,000s on that and hitting that. It wasn't a 14-team touchdown parlay, $5 for $490,000, but like it paid off. And I'm sure you guys chuckled a little bit watching your guy Brock Purdy kind of deflate. And shout out to whoever sold the MVP ticket on PropStop for $120,000 last week. At the perfect timing, like sell the top of the market. He sold it at $120,000. That's worth trash now because Lamar is in the lead. McCaffrey's in the mix now. You got a Lamar Tua comment. Like, what do you guys think if somehow Mike McDaniels and Tua has a great game, or Tyreek has 200 yards and Lamar loses and throws? Does it shift based on what Lamar does this week? Does Lamar need to solidify it with a win and go clean? Is there any shot here that McCaffrey and Tyreek creep up, or does Tua have a shot to beat Lamar and then Tua gets it? What's your guys' thoughts there, Dave?
So it's Lamar, and then we were talking about earlier Christian, and I think Tyreek's still in the mix. I think if they go and beat Baltimore and they go and beat Buffalo in the last 2 weeks, get 13-4, number 1 seed, he gets 2,000 yards. A lot of ifs, right? You got to get all those 3 stones in the circle. If you do, I think Tyreek's right in that mix too, and it'd be worth your while paying a little money for him right now because those things can still happen. Outside of that, I think it's a long shot for anyone else. I mean, maybe you can get into Josh Allen talk if you see a little bit of Baltimore implosion and Buffalo wins the AFC East. But other than that, I think it's those 3 and nobody else.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. And I'll have to ask you, took a couple of minutes, but Jalen turned it around, didn't look good. How you feeling about the Jalen situation? What do you think the problem is in Philly at this point? Dave, you've been pretty vocal on Twitter saying that it's kind of broken. Is it the offense? Is it Jalen? Is it the play calling? Is it all 3? What's the situation there?
Well, when something's broken, it's broken from the top. And because if it wasn't broken, or if it was broken, you would never hear it if you had really solid top leadership. I think we have an issue from the head coach down, and I really think the play calling is probably the number one issue I have right now. I do think Jalen's regressed. I do think he's running out of the pocket too early, making bad decisions. But when you are pre-programmed and they tell these things and told to go certain places, I feel like he's playing too robotic, if that makes any sense. So I think it's a combination of so many things, but I think it starts with Sirianni and then ends with their coordinator right now, Brian Johnson. From there, defense just isn't talented enough. It's just not, but it could get healthy. Kaylee Ringo's showing some stuff. We're getting some better play at cornerback, and if Slay comes back, I mean, Shaq Leonard looked good this week too, right? And you get the other guys like Cunningham and Morrow back. Personnel could get better there, but offensively, I think it just starts with leadership right now.
Okay, Tone, man, I'm sure you want to talk about your Eagles. Still rocking the shirt pridefully, coming out of Christmas break. What happens here for the Eagles, man? Do they make a run? Do they figure things out, or is it pretty much season over? One playoff win at best at this point.
I think you're going to go down a road this off season where there's going to be a lot of things that come out, and we watched this team. I kind of disagree with Jalen Hurts' regression, so to speak. I don't think he's regressed. I honestly have a different take. I think it's resentment. This is Jalen's boy in Brian Johnson. They have two coordinators on this team that they wanted neither of them. They wanted neither of them. We have to understand that. They didn't want Sean Desai. They only got him because they missed out on Vic Fangio because Jonathan Gannon screwed him. So that's why they brought in Patricia, as the defensive advisor, just to hope that they could put him into that role. And offensively, listen, think about this scenario. If Brian Johnson is Jalen's boy, and all this stuff's coming out where Jalen's getting a little more reins on the offensive play calling himself, right? And guys aren't getting involved, and guys aren't knowing what to do. First thing they're saying is, Jay, that's your boy. You wanted him. We didn't want him. And now you see Jalen just sulking on the sideline. You don't see him getting in the face of anybody. There's a big problem on this team, and I'll be honest with you, man. I don't think Sirianni can fix it. So it's going to be interesting.
But how could you not say Jalen's thrown 13 picks? He had 6 last year. His completion percentage is down. His QBR is down. His yards are down. His yards per attempt are down. There's something, right?
You can't go by those numbers, man.
I want every single quarterback stat is down.
Numbers, but half of those numbers you just speak of is specifically on offensive play calling.
Not 13 interceptions.
Half of those numbers are.
Not 13 interceptions.
Listen, but why is he throwing the interceptions? Last year, he could have probably had the same numbers, but his guys went up and got the ball, right? His guys went up and got the ball. And Avon, that's a good point, but I'll tell you what, you want to know why Vance Joseph wasn't going to be the guy? Because he knew that Howie Roseman controls his team.
That's a problem, too. I agree with that. No, and I'm not saying, Tony, he's done. I just think he's taking
me neither. I get it.
And I just think, but I do think it all revolves around coaching. I do think his numbers have I think he's regressed, but it's been because of coaching, if that makes sense.
No, like I said, I mean, look, you don't see a Lane Johnson coming out. You don't see a Jason Kelsey coming out, right? You don't see that, man. Something's up.
Yep.
Well, the good news is Luka Doncic has 20 in the first quarter, but only 2 rebounds. I went against the grain and took an under for like the first time in a long time. Under 10 and a half rebounds on Luka. These lines are getting tighter at the book, man. I hit one late last night on Zubox. I figure let's go with Luka. Dave, you've been crushing the NCAA game, man. You started off this both seasons 7-0. Had your first loss today because you're terrible at what you do.
Yeah,
7-1. 7-1 is just won't. It won't survive. It won't survive.
Yeah,
but you've been crushing it, man. So yeah. So if you want to go 7-1, which is not so great, you should read his article next couple of days. Got some big games coming up.
Yep.
Michigan, Alabama. Do you have your picks locked in for the big games coming up?
Yeah, subject to change, obviously, because news can come out. But right now, I like both Washington and Alabama. I like the dogs in both. But I mean, there's some things I got to like kind of dial in on, but yeah, I mean, don't forget Michigan lost to TCU last year in the semifinal game. JJ McCarthy had a dud. I don't think Big Ten football really prepares you as much as it should. So that's where I'm leaning right. Where SEC football, Alabama's played a gauntlet, and I think they're going to be ready for a team like Michigan, where the physicality that Michigan's going to see, I'm not sure they're going to be quite ready. I'm watching, Dave Portnoy put $1 million on Michigan. That's all heart. The sense is, I think Alabama. But again, subject to change, that's where I'm leaning.
Yeah, and Sia and I and David Meltz were talking last week. If whether Harbaugh wins or loses, rumors are starting to circle that he might head to LA to go be the Chargers' new head coach. Would be kind of cool for Herbert. I like to see Harbaugh in the NFL, so you got to deal with all that bullshit that's going on. But let's get to the DraftKast, Dave. Let's pull it up.
Yeah, hold on. Didn't Harbaugh just sign a 10-year, $125 million
extension? But with the suspensions and the things that he's done this year, I think Michigan can get out of that, and we'll see. With the cheating scandal, Avon's with me. I think they could get really penalized, which would make Harbaugh want to leave. So that's why there's noise.
Hey, real fast, you want to hear? You want a hot take? Like, I'm good for a little jigsaw take. Justin Herbert will be the new quarterback of the Denver Broncos next year. You heard it here first.
Going to the
next year, though. And now the news came out today that Wilson is going to get cut. Not only is he getting benched, he's going to get cut too.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with like salary, saving money, blah blah blah. All those financial, whatever. $30 million. These bad contracts, man. Between Deshaun Watson, like that's going to go down as one of the worst contracts in the NFL for quite some time.
Yep,
that dude's not good. I called it early with him too. He's the next one. Like if you want to have that list ready for me, telling Deshaun Watson can go on that list. You can take over for Russ here.
You're so right. If my boy Flacco's lighting them up, they screwed that up so bad.
I said it to my boys too. Like if Flacco was the quarterback of the Jets starting week 2, the Jets make the playoffs.
Yep, I agree. 100%. It was there to be had.
Their D is legit, man. Their D is legit, and I'm waiting for drafts next season. I hope I'm in some drafts where like people like don't want to go out there and grab Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall because it's just quarterback play. There's offensive line problems there, but it's quarterback play more than anything else because the kids have talent out there. That defense has talent. And I think Flacco is going to be due for a down game. I think the Jets are like haven't let up a 300-yard passer in quite some time. So it could be a sneaky game tomorrow, kind of let down spot, revenge narrative.
I agree.
But Dave, let's pull up this DraftCast board. Let's get into this week. It's actually a big week too, man. It's not like a simple week. There's a lot of games. We only get one Thursday nighter, one Saturday night game. I'll be looking ahead for sure. Saturday night seems to be a good lineup. I mean, a good night to make some lineups, stuff like that. I got the Lions-Cowboys game. Jets and Browns tomorrow, Thursday night. But let's get into this main slate. A lot of games to get through. So let's get the draft board up. Start talking some strategy for this slate.
We're going to give Tone first pick. We're going over the slides, and we think it's close between me and him. Last week, I'll release the results. Next week, we'll have a double winner. But I'm going to give Tony first pick and let you know, where do you want to go? 1 through 3.
I want to go last, man. I like being last.
Yeah. You've been sitting well back there. All right, I like it.
I like being last.
All right, I'll go 2 this week. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to give Jay 1 and give me a second to sit there and kind of decide where I want to go because it's been working. We'll see where it's at. But Jay, you lead us off. You've done research this week.
I hope you guys have done some research.
I've done some. Yeah.
It's early weeks talk here. McCaffrey, making a push for MVP maybe. Gets an awesome matchup. This game worries me a little bit just due to blowout potential. Washington doesn't have a quarterback. They bench Howell again, and it looks like he's going to be benched for this game for Jacoby Brissett. But the Niners are only coming in as 12.5-point favorites. Give the ball to McCaffrey any shape or form. Let me hopefully lock in 25 to 30 points. And, for your cash games, your single entries, McCaffrey's probably your building block. There is some value on the slate with so many games. So I'll start off with McCaffrey, and hopefully I can find some value later in the rounds.
I like it, and I lean going there. I don't mind paying up from this week, even in GPPs. I think he's worth the value. I think they get back to the roots, but I'll take the other guy that I think is just as valuable this week, and that's Kyron Williams. Get a little bit of a discount playing the Giants team that I just got to see firsthand, and they should have switched it ran for 150 if they would have committed to him. But overall, the Eagles did run a lot on him, so I'll take Kyron Williams. And Rams in a big playoff push. That's what I like too this week.
I like it, man. I like it. That was going to be my guy.
Yeah.
You took him, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to go for the same exact reasons, man. Same exact reasons. I'm going to go Matt Stafford, and I'm going to go my boy Puka Nacua. I'm going to save a little bit from Cooper Kupp. These two, man, like I just can't believe that they find these guys. Like, really, it is unbelievable. It really is. I mean, Puka like comes out of nowhere, and this dude is just so consistent. And then Matt Stafford, reborn. I mean, just reborn. He isn't a great outside quarterback. I could say that. So if the weather is a little cold, it may hinder a little bit. But man, last 2 games, guys, he's averaging 73% completion percentage. I mean, he hasn't thrown a pick since week 12. I mean, multiple touchdown games. I like it, man. And like you said, Dave, the playoff push that just gets him to that next step.
It's important to factor when you're doing not only handicapping, but DFS. Like these guys are going to want to play the game out. So I agree. I love the Rams this week. Good call. I'm going to go with my guy who's just been, I think, a wonder the past at least 6-7 weeks here and gets an unbelievable matchup. He had a bad one against them the week before when they played earlier this year, but I'll take Chris Olave. It's just, we know what Tampa is in the defensive backfield. And that's what Bowles wants you to be. We'll let you get yards, try not score, but if he can get those 8-9 catches and put up 100 yards again, great price at 6,800.
Yeah, Dave, I actually texted Sticks earlier today, about an hour ago, because I wrote down several names in the prop market. Some lines came out. Olave was one of those names. He opens at 66.5, which I think is a really nice number for him. I just want to get that cosign from Sticks and see if he's with it. If he is, I'm going to go that route and bet the over on Olave. But I'll run it back with your guy, DeAndre Swift, 6,500. This is a cupcake matchup. Worst rush D in Arizona. I like this game for a bounce back spot for Philly. Potentially a back and forth affair as well. So give me DeAndre Swift, and then I also see a bounce back for the Kansas City Chiefs, man. Mahomes kind of got embarrassed. Never really see that too often for Mahomes to finish, for 235, only 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's coming off that game, and then he also came off a 2-interception game against New England. He's got 5 picks in the last 4 games. So there's some regression here too. I'm not really worried about Mahomes. I'm worried about his teammates who suck and they're not playing well. He has no wide receivers, and Kelsey's getting a little bit older. But give me Rashee Rice. Give me DeAndre Swift. They're both in that mid-range. As long as Rashee Rice is under 7K, number 1 receiver, 12 targets last game, 9 targets before that, 10, 9, 10. So this guy's finally getting the work he needs and the targets he needs. So this should be like a big spot for him. This is the worst or one of the worst, passing defense in the league. You saw what Mason Rudolph did to the Bengals. Mahomes should bounce back, and they should get some confidence back. So I'll go Rice here.
Love it. You just said the magic word. Mason Rudolph. I'm going George Pickens. Now that he
was a guy, I was going to take him. I was like, it's too obvious, and maybe I'll get him back.
First, that team, Seattle lets up a ton. Let's go him. And I'll pass over you, Tone. Well, I got it.
Thanks again, Dave, for stealing another one of my picks. That's okay. Listen, I will say this. Like, somebody was like, oh, by the way, it was great. Like, Dave, you'll like this. I'll say this to you because it was both of us. So shout out to my man, Jeff, if he's listening right now. He listened to us all off season with all our serious shows every Sunday. And he texted me yesterday. He said, Tony, thanks so much. Because of you and Dave's all-season shows, I'm in the championship. And most of the players we talked about are the players he took, and he's in the championship for fantasy. So, the cool thing is when we pick each other's players, that means we're not looking at the same sheet, but we're having the same vision. So that's why we're good at what we do. And that's not being cocky, that's being confident. So speaking of that, I'm going to go double running back right here because I want to get back. And because Dave keeps where are we at here? Dave just drop off.
Dave just dropped off. So you can talk about your pick here though. You can talk about it. Let me pull this off real quick. Talk about who you like here while we get this board back up, Tom.
Okay. So I was going to get a double running back. Now I'm all screwed up here. But for the same simple fact that for what Dave said, and that is, I was all in on this Pittsburgh-Seattle game. I wanted Pickens. So I'm going to go Jaylen Warren. I like Warren. I like him for a couple good catches out of the backfield, maybe take it the distance with Mason Rudolph, at the helm. He's a very, very good back. And on the other side, listen, what happens when you bench your quarterback and you go with the backup? You kind of lean on the running back, right? So give me Javonte Williams. I think in a great spot at home, 5,600. I think 2 running backs right there are in a good smash spot for me. So I'm going to go with them to start off. And since Dave stole my pick.
So, Tone, while waiting for Dave to come back, let's discuss a couple games here, just, off the rip. And what's your expectations for Philly here? You're a Philly guy. You think Kyler Murray and this squad of Michael Wilson, James Conner, Rondell Moore, Hollywood Brown is probably out. Trey McBride, of course. Do you think Arizona can hang with this team, or do you think Philly just stomps on them, runs the ball, lower scoring from the Arizona side, and their defense actually steps up here?
Yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting, right? So you always have a game where you have the former defensive coordinator who knows the team, who practiced against the offense, right? Comes and he kind of knows what style they run. So he's gonna employ a different kind of a defensive scheme against Jalen and against the team. So be interesting to see. We already have the inefficiencies, right? The deficiencies. So we'll see what happens. But I'm more worried about the defense. Like you mentioned, I get that, they're down a couple players, but number one, James Conner. Listen, we cannot stop the run, man. Like we cannot stop the run, and our secondary. Listen, Ringo played good, but at the end of the day, man, he's still a rook. So you have to take in consideration that mobility from Kyler Murray. So I don't think it's a given, man. I don't think it's a given.
Dave, you bringing it back to pen and paper, man? You
I have to. I'm sorry, guys. I'm on the road, and I didn't realize my charger wasn't charging, and then all of a sudden, so I apologize. I got us in good shape right now. I know I just didn't hear Tony's last pick.
So
Tony
I go Jaylen Warren and Javonte Williams.
Warren, okay, cool, and Javonte.
Okay. Whose turn is it now? Is it back to you, Dave?
It is back to me, and I started off, obviously, I had Olave there at receiver. I also went with Pickens. So and then I had my running back of choice, Kyron Williams. So, this makes it tough this week. Like you guys said, there's a lot on the schedule, a lot of big games. And you didn't go Mike Evans, right? I'm going to go Mike Evans.
Okay.
Listen, there's some theory there with the Saints games and how he plays against Marshawn Lattimore. But he's been so good lately. I'm okay. I think this game means this is it, right? This is it for them. I think he steps up.
Okay. So rock with that. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a little bit off the board here, and I'm gonna go with my quarterback and stack combination. Shocking to most, I'm actually going to go with Kyler Murray, man. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kyler Murray. The rushing floor the last 3 weeks, 20, 49, 32. He fumbled the ball 5 times. Didn't lose any of the fumbles, but he's running the ball a little bit more. This is a matchup against the 27th ranked defense in Philly. It's got a high total. They can be playing from behind. I'm going to pair him up with Trey McBride, get that stack going. I know I'm going to need some salary savers after this, but I think it can work this week. I know Six has been playing Kyler the past couple of weeks. The numbers say so, but he went against San Fran and Chicago. And I respect Chicago's defense. He still put up 230, 2 touchdowns. He doesn't have many weapons, but at 6,300, I'm hoping he runs the ball for 50, 60 yards. Maybe he can get in the end zone with one of those runs like he did, in week 12 or week 11 or week 10. And then maybe he goes for 250, 260 at 6,300. There's some other quarterbacks that you can really dumpster dive on. We got some questionable tags. He has an illness right now. As long as he's okay. I was looking at some other guys, but I like the combination that this Philly game maybe goes a little bit more up pace, and I'll get some value at low ownership here with the McBride to Kyler Murray combination.
All right, you got another one too.
Murray McBride.
McBride. You're taking McBride too. Okay, cool.
I like that.
Yeah, I do.
Could work. It could work.
I'm going to go for and we know the Eagles are not good against tight ends, so good call. For my 6th straight week, give me the Bears, D. Listen, it's Heineke, right? It's Heineke time, so I'm fading that Atlanta offense.
I like it. I do. I like it. Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick at all. For me, I'm gonna go same. I'm thinking the same way as Jay, man. Like I wanted a piece of this Arizona Philly game, and I'm actually gonna go 2 pieces. I'm gonna go with Greg Dortch. He's my sleeper this week. With the heel with Hollywood Brown, again, I don't know if he plays, not sure, but the Philadelphia Eagles have a big problem with the number 2 and number 3 receivers on other teams. And Greg Dortch has got a really good familiarity with Kyler Murray since he's come back. Very inconsistent, but the one thing I could tell you is he's at least getting targets every game, so he's involved. So I like Dortch, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to go on the other side of the ball, man. When I hear things in the press conferences and in the locker room, and I hear guys say, I'm not happy, I'm not satisfied, give me Devontae Smith, man. I think Devontae Smith goes off this week. I think there's some issues with AJ Brown right now. I'm not going to try to, guess what it is, but I think Devontae Smith is the number 1 receiver this week in that game.
I like it. I do think you're right.
Devontae was in my lineup first, but then when I pivoted out somewhere, I know I won't have the salary for him here. So I like the Devontae call. It's either between him and Rashee Rice, and I just said
I have Rice on my list too.
Yeah. But I think it's Devontae's week though for sure. And I love this Arizona matchup, so I think someone's going to torture him. It's either going to be Jalen to Devontae or AJ, or maybe they just run Swift. And they want to get this guy going. So who's it on, Dave or is it me? It's Dave,
no,
right?
It's me. And I don't have to go quarterback. I know where you guys are, but or do I want to go there? It just hurts so much, but all right, give me Taysom Hill.
Ooh.
I'm going to double up the Saints. Tampa's just so bad in the passing game. Getting him for 4,400. He's had some enormous weeks. Give me a shot on him.
Okay. I'll go with 2 picks here. First pick is my ladder bet from whatever day that was. I think it was Christmas. And Darius Slayton, man, that 69-yard bomb came through, got him to 90 yards, cleared all his props, plus 1,100 on the 90, hit the 60, 70, 80, 50, I think was the bottom of it. His receiving prop was like in the 30, somewhere 34.5. So made a ton of money on that. So kids getting targets. He's a deep threat. They're going to probably be playing from behind at home. Hopefully weather's good. So I'm going to go Slayton here for value at 3,400. He's a home run threat for this team. Wandale is kind of like the gadget guy. So give me Slayton at 3,400. And then give me another value guy, 3,500. Had a bad week last week somehow against Green Bay. Only got 1 target. But give me Jonathan Mingo. Prior to that, 5, 9, 10, 6 targets. hopefully this kid can get him the ball going against one of the worst defenses in Jacksonville, 29th ranked pass defense. So Mingo should have some opportunities. Hopefully he comes down with it, and hopefully the kid can actually, put it together. I don't know how they put up those points last week and didn't get the ball at all, but I think, there's an option here to get Mingo going at 3,500, low own GPP play, but I like the value.
Yeah, good picks. Mingo's been, in certain weeks been great, and that's a good matchup. I think I have enough to do this. He's let everyone down the entire year, but he's playing Denver. Give me Austin Eckler, 6,700. Have we ever seen him below 7,000? He even had a good game against Denver earlier, getting 20 points because of the catch radius out of the backfield. So I'll take Eckler in that matchup. And that
saw my tweet last week too, right, Dave? I said, how low of a rushing number on Eckler would be?
And he got it.
He got it like in the second quarter. It was like at 35. I'm like, wow. Austin Eckler rush prop at 35 just makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, he did it. He's still not that great, but yeah, at that price tag at 6,700, I took a shot on him in some, I think, late only or afternoon only lineups, and he didn't play great, but this is a great matchup for him, and they should be up. And Easton Stick was moving the ball a little bit, so I like the call there at that price.
Yeah. All right, Tony.
Yeah, I thought the way you let in with that, Dave, I thought you were going to steal my guy, because he has been a letdown, and I will say, I called this in the beginning of the year. I said, guys get old, things happen. I can see a regression, but I'm going to go with him this week at 7,000. Give me Travis Kelce. Listen, this guy hasn't scored a touchdown since week 11. I understand, but he's still 24 targets in 3 weeks. I understand all the numbers are down, but there's been a lot of stuff, said about him this week. It's New Year's Eve. He's at home. This has every bit of that 3 touchdown kind of game for Travis Kelce against Cincinnati, who's just, they're trying to hang on a little bit right now. Poor guys out there. But yeah, I like Travis Kelce, and I'm going to go double tight end because I'm going to get in to this Tampa Bay game, and I'm going to go Kate Otten. So, I like the Mike Evans call. I do. He was on my list, but looking at the Tampa Bay game and looking at the way they match up against New Orleans, it's 27-28, I think, against opposing tight ends. I think that, they kind of hold Rachaad White in check a little bit, and, I think Kate Otten has a decent game today.
I like it. Yeah, I think that's going to be a sneaky high-scoring game, so good call there. I got a few in that game. I'm going to round out my quarterback now, save my flex. I'll go Mason Rudolph. I'm going cheap, but against Seattle's defense, we saw him whipping it around 5K. We said it last week, Jay, on the Sunday show. Stay in the 5K range. Who hit Flacco, right? Mullins wasn't terrible. The winning lineups had guys that were cheaper at quarterback last week. Yep. I'm going to go cheap too.
You know why I like in that same kind of price range? I know it sounds kind of gross, but Tyrod Taylor, man. Like, this guy,
I don't hate him either.
He's a professional quarterback, and he's always just hasn't found a team to kind of lock in with and some weapons. So I kind of like Tyrod. Look, he's 4,600. He came in, late in the game or whatever, second quarter, second half. I don't remember exactly, but put up 133. He can run a little bit at 4,600, man. Like, he's the price of like a low end tight end. He doesn't need much at those price tags. So I like your call as well, man. I think Dave might have froze on us, but it's my turn, right, Don? I'm going again
you're
here.
Up. Yep.
Yeah, I'm up. I'll close out my team. Yeah, I'll close out my team. And let's remove Dave's face from the screen here, and we can kind of go duo here. And I will go combination of Noah Brown with CJ Stroud back. I think he bounces back in a big way with Stroud. Limited practice on Wednesday, but I think he's a go. Make sure you obviously check that out. And then I'm going to go maybe a shocker, maybe not, but I'm going to go with Ravens defense to close out the line. I was kind of looking at Carolina's defense. They're cheap too. I like the Bears defense, but these Ravens, bro,
man.
They're a scary team. I'm not expecting 5 picks, 4 sacks again, but they're going to sack you. They're going for the ball. They're cheap. I know Miami's good and all that, but Baltimore at home, look, every single week, they've had like one letdown week where they let up 27 to Cincy and lost in week 2, and they put up 3 points. Every other week, they're getting you at least 6 points defensively. And there's weeks they got you 15, 17 points defensively at 2,800. Don't be too scared of Tyreek and Tua. I wouldn't be shocked if they get to Tyreek early in this game and frazzle him, just like they did to Purdy. That's going to be Harbaugh's, goal here, to get to Tua, not hurt him, but get to him. So Ravens D, Noah Brown, no salary left. I'm entering this lineup in, and hopefully it takes you guys down. But you guys have been beating me all year long, so it could happen, man. It could happen once again.
All right. So who was your flex? Sorry, I was looking up someone and it
Noah
skipped out.
Brown.
Noah
Brown at 5,100. If Josh Jacobs doesn't go, Zamir White's sitting there at 5,200 too. I was looking at him, but too early to tell, what the deal is with Josh Jacobs here. And big shout out to, the Raiders, man. Antonio Pierce and what they're doing. Like, those are good stories. You see him step up, the team come around, and they're playing like the Raiders should be playing, like just dogs, man. I have no problem not giving that ball to the fan and all that kind of stuff.
No, I don't either.
I have no problem with that. And supposedly there was a guy that was trying to take the ball away from the kid, so he took the ball back. That was, what his kind of take on that was. So I like the Raiders. I like what they're doing here. I don't really like them for fantasy, but if Jacobs is out again, I think Zamir White at 5,200 against that defense, he can have another good to great game against the Colts, man. And they're only 3-point dogs here. I wouldn't be shocked if the Raiders win this game again.
So I have to dumpster dive, and while we're talking about Raiders, as long I got to do it anyway. I'm going to take Austin Hooper to close out my lineup. Got a couple catches in the first half. They didn't complete a pass in the second half. That's how bad it was to beat Kansas City. They didn't even need to. But if he's the starting tight end, at least I saw him get plenty of the snap counts, a couple of touches, which was more than Devontae Adams, to be honest. So I'll take Cooper to round out my lineup. And like you said, Indianapolis, you can score against them.
One other value guy I was looking at too, like Tony said, he went Kelsey, I went Rice. I think Justin Watson at 3,400, 3,500 too. Like, he was a little questionable too. He's another dude that I was looking at that I have no problem, rolling out there. I think Casey's got to bounce back, man. And you saw Pickens just light that team up. So I think they're going to keep their foot on the gas and put up like a 30 spot here against Kansas City.
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game. But since Jay took my defense, because again, what's funny? I like what you talked about, Antonio Pierce. I was talking last on late nights about most underrated coach this year, and the callers, the three guys that they mentioned: Kevin Stefanski, Antonio Pierce, and John Harbaugh. Right? I mean, listen, Harbaugh just gets it done year in and year out, man.
You can give McVay. You can throw McVay in that shit too, man. McVay, like, he's almost out this year.
You can.
Yeah.
Terrible season, came in bad, and had some injuries, bounced around the injuries, and bro, if they go in, nobody wants to play those dudes. Nobody wants to play the rent, bro. I'm telling you.
But what's his name? You got to give our boy Steichen. Like, out of nowhere, like, Indianapolis is in the playoffs. So, yeah, there's a lot of good candidates, but I give you Pierce. Pierce, I've been so impressed with. Now, is that something that's a season long? Can he do it for a season long, or is it just infuse the energy now? We'll see, but he deserves it. I agree.
Yeah, he's you know what I like about him? He's just who he is, man. He's like a Tomlin. Like, Mike Tomlin is the same guy. Like, he doesn't change. Like, his style doesn't change, and Antonio Pierce hasn't changed. And speaking of Antonio Pierce, I'm going to go with the second defense that I had selected. That's going to be the New York Giants at 2,500. I know they're going against the Rams. Okay, I get it, but this is a very underrated defense that actually scored in double digits 6 out of the last 10 weeks, man. Like,
Giants?
the Giants.
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
they're good. Their defense is playing tough. I've watched a couple of their games, man. Their defensive stuff is just offensively, they're just putrid. Like,
I mean, Saquon,
they need some wide receivers. They need an O-line, and they need to figure out this quarterback situation because they just invest a ton in Daniel Jones, and that may not work. But I like the Giants. I've been playing them and the Bears anytime I need value, and they've been holding up, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good pick. John
says D'Amico Ryans
he
also
was
underrated. It's another good
so
call.
when I said Steichen, I was choosing between those two. I was close. And I'm with him, especially because they lost one game without Stroud. They won the other one, so he's actually But Steichen's been without Anthony Richardson pretty much the whole year, so that's why I said Steichen more. But yeah, I'm with him.
Listen,
comeback
either
player of
way,
the year. Do you
a
have
lot
to
of
give
great
comeback?
storylines this year.
My bad. You have to give comeback player of the year to Hamlin, or can we give it to Flacco at this point?
No, it can't be Hamlin. I'm sorry. I'm going to come off very insensitive here, but he has 2 tackles on the year. I went and looked at this. You cannot. I know you're just giving it.
He's still the favorite too right now.
I know, but if you give it to him, you're giving it to him because he's alive. Give it to him for you can give him every other award. Walter Payton, you can have him out there in your SPs like you did. He doesn't deserve comeback player of the year. I'm sorry
Flacco,
that comes
right? You gotta give it to Flacco.
Yeah.
Flacco makes the playoffs. He's got to get it, right?
I'm sorry, but two tackles.
And I think Hamlin's got his, he's got his praise. He's gotten everything he got for the past year. And anything else you want to give, come back, whatever. But Flacco
and that's jigsaw-like.
Yeah, Flacco off the couch. It's not even that mean. I don't even think he thinks it's mean. Flacco off the couch to do what he's doing, bro, lighting up teams. You got to give it to this man.
It is great.
The Jets organization should have to give him the award too. They should have to hand him the award on top of it all, man. As a penalty for not respecting this guy and putting him in or signing him. They could have had 5 different quarterbacks, and then it's bounced around between Zach Wilson, Boyle, and now Simeon. It's just moronic situations for the Jets organization. There's so many bad organizations out there, but the Jets are definitely,
But Douglas and Salah are back. They're back, baby. Give them a vote of confidence. And they dressed Aaron Rodgers this week, and he says, I didn't want them to dress me. I wanted to be on the side. Stop, dude. Why is it always about you? That Pat McAfee's got to go, too. I could be here forever.
What's wrong with Pat, man?
He brings Rodgers on every week. He doesn't need to be on a show when you're not playing football, but it's his butt buddy that can get him clicks. So they put out this stupid stuff and wears this tank top while doing it. It's dumb.
The tank top is ridiculous. The tank top really bothers me. The tank tops are jean shorts.
In Indianapolis, it's 20 degrees out there. He's not wearing that.
You can bring Rodgers on. I don't mind. You want to bring Rodgers on.
Why? He's irrelevant.
Yeah,
but he's irrelevant.
It's a business. So I kind of get that, but the tank top, I don't need to be seeing that. Yeah,
bro, see, hold on. I'm gonna stick up for Pat McAfee, and this is why.
I don't think he's a bad dude. I don't think he's a bad dude. Good energy, all that kind of stuff.
But the reason you don't get Pat McAfee, man, because you aren't wrestling fans.
No, I get it, and you shouldn't get it. He wasn't a real wrestler. He wasn't a real wrestling. He was there a year. He was there a year. He was there a year. He ripped off the WWE.
Bro, he put on 2 of the best matches I've ever seen. Okay?
I agree that.
And listen, let's just throw this out there. Dave goes on a rant. I'm going to go on a freaking rant right now because
we're going to talk about wrestling. My computer broke. I'm out of here.
Bro, people don't understand how much that dude had to put in to learn those kind of moves at the Performance Center. Try to be in WrestleMania, bro. I'm sorry, man. I'm a Pat McAfee guy. I'm a Pat McAfee fan. The dude did what every single one of us would want to do as a friggin' podcast.
Tom, I don't want to go wrestling, but if you want to wear a tank top, a black tank top next week, I'll allow it, man.
Bro, it doesn't matter. He put his time in, and he got a contract from ESPN. So say what you want, man.
I respect all that, man. Yeah, he
and I think, man. Yeah. Listen, he is great on college football game day. Great. They needed that energy. It's just the Aaron Rodgers thing. That's what bothers me. He's irrelevant, but he uses his butt buddy. It's every week you show the same talk. Why do you got to talk to a guy that's been out with an Achilles since week 1 that gives you nothing except spaceship talk? That was my rant. It's not as much Pat McAfee as it is this Rodgers stuff.
Aaron Rodgers. Dave, let me ask you a couple questions. I wrote down 7 names so far. The prop market's not out, in full. But I got 7 names that I wrote down that I'm probably going to bet no matter what. But I just came on before the show. I wrote them down. I didn't lock them in yet. Olave over 66.5.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Rashee Rice 63.5. Travis Kelce 62.5.
No.
Justin Watson, 21.5.
I would say yes.
Okay. Isaiah Likely, 40.5. So
I'm going to go no.
40.5. Okay, Miami, a little up pace. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more, but okay. Brandon Cooks let me down.
But they're coming off this huge win. You watch what Buffalo did when they came off a huge win against Dallas. Like, I think there's a little letdown case here. So that's all.
I just see the way I see this Miami game. I think Lamar's going to have to throw the ball a little bit more, and I think Likely's going to have. Not that they're going to be down, but I think they're going to try to sell out the run, and McDaniel's going to try to prevent the run game a little bit. So, haven't bet any of these. Brandon Cooks bounced back, 35.5. He had a big touchdown, but didn't get enough targets last week. And then one for tomorrow. I think the Jets going to have trouble moving the ball, on the ground with Breece Hall. But I think he's still going to get receptions and receiving yards. The number on receiving is 29.5. Thoughts on Breece, 29.5. Tone, you like that? It's tomorrow night.
I do
like that.
You do
like that.
Hey, I do because he's been getting
so many targets, bro.
More.
So many targets.
Guys, I apologize. My phone's about to die. Just so you know, if I get cut off.
Yeah, if you get cut off. Dave, who wins that game? Browns, Jets. What do you got?
Browns, but Jets cover.
Okay. Tony, you think the Jets have upset potential to screw their draft picks up a little bit more?
No. I think Cleveland's too good right now, man. That defense.
Yeah. But I think like the passing thing that you said that the Jets hold down some passers pretty low. I think they can keep within the number. It's 7 last time I saw.
Yeah, they got some momentum coming in here, so I think there's a shot that they can maybe cover, maybe pull up the offense. If their offense moves a little bit, but that Cleveland defense is too good. Flacco's been great. If Cooper's out, that could maybe change things. He's coming up questionable right now. 34.5 over under. Cleveland's favored by 7.5 right now. The Jets are projected to score 13, but the best bet in that game, I think, is Breece Hall, man. Look, 16 targets last week. They figured it out. They got to get the ball. 9, 8, 9 in 3 of the last 4 games. He had one down game against Miami, but that was just they got crushed. The whole game plan was thrown out the window real quick. So, man, let's get out of here. Luka Doncic, whoever bet that, he's got 3 rebounds at the half. Mavs are up 15. The over/under was 10.5. So we're on pace. Let's get a blowout. Rest of fourth quarter and
that's a great number, man. That was a great number.
Great bet.
Great number, man.
Thanks for sharing.
I don't bet unders often, but when I do, they got.
Isn't that weird?
Bro, I had another under. I don't know if it hit, but I was gonna bet it. But I'm like, I don't want to mess around with unders here. But I liked it. Let's see if it hit. Yeah, it was Jordan Poole under 19.5. He finished with 14. I thought they'd probably get beat down, and they lost by 30. There's no fun betting unders though, so I really don't do it too often. But I think Dave's checked out or dropped his phone. Tone, get us out of here. Let me kick Dave out of
here. Dave's had all kinds of issues tonight, man. Like all kinds of issues tonight, but that's all right. It happens. It's the holiday week, so sometimes what happens is, you're running around, you try to do the family thing, you try to do everything we can. But as always, listen, WinDailySports.com. Again, this is our last DraftCast for the year in 2023. So the next one we do will be in 2024.
We're not doing a draft cast.
No.
What did I know? No. You caught me. You caught me.
You're not following along, man.
A little tricky.
Yeah, just want to thank the audience for everybody with their support. Obviously we want to do better and we want to get better, but we can't do it without the support of everybody else. Ed did want me to go on. I did go on my jigsaw rant. But
shout out to one other thing. Shout out to everybody who made their fantasy football finals.
Yeah, I was getting that. Yep.
And no shout out to Isaiah for beating me. I hate you, Isaiah. I hope you're watching. I hate you. No longer allowed in the Win Daily League. You beat me this year, so you're out of here, man. You're not invited next year, Isaiah.
Yeah, it's a good point because this year more than any, if you were able to go through the treachery of injuries and non-plays, and I mean, listen, it was a I know why people play DFS, because season long is a grind now, man. Is absolute grind. So shout out to everybody for making their championship. And as always, my man Jeff, for giving me that text. That made me feel good to know that somebody besides myself who didn't make it to the final did make the final. So listen, we're heading into 2024. We're always expecting big things. If you don't expect big things, you shouldn't be in this business. So we expect big things, and we're going to try to take it up another notch because we expect a lot from ourselves. So with that, make sure you give us a follow at Win Daily Sports. Make sure you follow windailysports.com on the YouTube page. Obviously, and shout out to Jared, who's been doing a ton of prize picks every single day, going through some things, and he's still got the energy to get there and do the videos. And on top of that, winning 3-0, 4-0, NHL, NFL. So make sure you give him your support as well. But Jay, any final thoughts as we go into 2024, man?
Final thoughts, man. The sports books have been really good to me. So I've been focusing a lot of my energy on the betting side of things, more so than DFS as of late. And I'm sad to see the NFL season coming to an end, man, because it's been really good. Basketball, I've been locking in when I got time, but all the focus has been on NFL, to be totally honest with you. Prop markets, DFS lineups, betting games, and all that kind of stuff. So I hope the trend continues. We'll be building some more tools in 2024. Just, keep grinding, and baseball is right around the corner. So everybody's going to be rooting against the Dodgers, and that should be fun. The Mets, Tone, I'll officially say it right now. You can write it down wherever you want to write it. 4th or 5th in the division. They're going to be terrible. They're going to be garbage, trash, whatever you want to consider very bad. They're going to be that this year. I'm not expecting big things out of them. And Cohen's like that, the guy that I don't even know what you consider him. Like, to have all this money and then not be able to close people. It's like you were supposed to have the money and use it effectively and make this team competitive, and he just hasn't done it, man. So your Phillies look good. They look good. The Braves look good. The Dodgers obviously look good on paper. Not really worried about them, but, it is what it is. So we'll focus on NFL for a couple more months, and, who knows? Maybe we go to the Super Bowl. That'd be a nice thing to do, is head over to the Super Bowl in Vegas. So thinking about that, potentially heading out there. I got a birthday around that day. My boy's 40th is going to be around that day. So, maybe heading out to Vegas for the Super Bowl, but that's on the bucket list. Still haven't done that, and Vegas would be a good spot to do it. So that might happen. I gotta pull some strings, but haven't bought the tickets yet. But I really need to go to the game. Like, I almost rather just be at the sports book in Vegas and party for 3 days than having to deal with all the Super Bowl festivities and stuff like that. But yeah, if I got tickets, I would definitely go as well. So it should be a good time.
Yeah, listen, man. All I gotta say is just this one's for you. In April, WrestleMania is in Philadelphia.
Oh, God.
Just throwing it out there, man.
You bought your tickets already or no?
Nah, I'm with you. I'd rather hang out. So, I don't want to be there. It's just going to be craziness. But I do want to join in some festivities and things of that nature. So, got some things planned as far as some shows and with a couple people. So it should be a fun weekend, man. Really, really fun weekend. But as we close this out, again, thanks for everybody for another great year in 2023. Looking forward to more big things, but most importantly, health and happiness to everybody. That is the most important thing in this world, in this crazy world we live in every day. So as always, windailysports.com for Tony, for Jay. Everybody stay safe and stay healthy. Good luck this weekend, and we'll catch you back here.